Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. At center, 7 foot from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. From Arizona, number 24, Chris Mills. At guard, 6'5", from Southern, number 14, Bobby Fields. At forward, 6'9", from San Diego State, number 44, Michael Cage. Guard, 5'11", from Oregon, number 11, Terrell Brendan. And at center, 6'11", from Tulane, number 18, John Hot Rod Williams. With assistant coaches Ron Rothstein, Sidney Lowe, Jim Boylan, the trainer Gary Briggs.
How many times has it happened for teams that have gone into Texas only to come away feeling pretty bad about themselves? But the Cavaliers are back at home where they're 17-10, and they get back to the business of rededicating themselves to rebounding and defense, which has allowed them to overcome the tremendous losses that they've suffered. Brad Daugherty, back surgery, gone for the season, so it's 57 and counting. Same story for Gerald Wilkins, who popped his Achilles tendon just like his brother. Mark Price, wrist surgery. He's going to start working soon. Tyrone Hill's been out for 10 games with hand surgery. He should be back in a matter of a couple of weeks as well, they think. Could be longer. But they've really done a remarkable job here.
Well, they concentrate on defense, Al. That's their strong suit. And they are not a good shooting team percentage-wise. They work very well together, but they've got to shoot the ball better themselves. They had a major slump on this road trip with their shooting from the field. They lost the 3 games Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of this week on the road in Texas. They got tired at the end of that trip, and the lack of depth is starting to show. Now that they're home, this kind of is a big game for them to show that they can get back to the pattern of winning that they have established for themselves this season. This is a big one in that regard. They want to get back to a winning way.
Well, they're in that 3-team race in the Central Division, 3 games out. Mike Mathis, Woody Mayfield, David Jones on the scene from the NBA tonight. Michael Cage will jump it up, the rugged rebounding forward, against Patrick Ewing, who is yet to make his entrance into the jump circle. That's one of his little traditions. Chris Mills will be up against Charles Smith. Hot Rod Williams with Charles Oakley. Terrell Brandon against Derek Harper. Bobby Phills with John Starks. Knicks down in the season series 1-2, and that loss in December, one of the worst losses of the year for the Knicks. Starks kicks it for Smith. There you see how strong Michael Cage can be off the boards.
The game that the Knicks lost last to Cleveland in New York was preceded by a very big win at home against the Houston Rockets. And the Knicks came out flat 2 nights later. Now, the Knicks had a big win the other night against Chicago. They want to sustain this kind of excellent play that they showed in the second half.
Terrell Brandon way off. Ewing for Starks. Starks lets it go, and it's a swishing 3. The Knicks on the board. They change it to a 2. A steal by Charles Oakley. He almost had a steal on the last Cavaliers possession, so he's very active defensively. Harper guarded by Brandon. Mills jumps out to double team. Smith way off on his second shot. Charles Smith back after missing a game due to a slight knee sprain. Hot Rod Williams, Chris Mills. Cavaliers cold. Knicks with the only basket of the first minute and a half. Oakley. Now that little switch, that jump out help defensively that the Cavaliers are doing at the three-point line is looking like it could hurt them with the baseline jumpers if the Knicks can hit from there.
Well, also finding the open man, as the Knicks have done now a couple of times.
Knicks try a similar defensive play. Cage, Mills. Somebody yelled for Charles Smith to get up on him. Now he drops off. Everybody drops off. Mills open, slapped out of bounds. Oh, was he hit hard by Charles Oakley? All ball, they say.
Charles Smith appreciated with that little pat on the backside of Oakley. It saved him.
Fans watching the replay with 1 second left on the 24-second clock. Cavaliers taking a long time getting someone into position to inbound the ball. Finally, it's Chris Mills. He's going to have to be quick. Slapped away by Ewing. Starks slows it up. Snaps it for Oakley. He's 2 for 2. A very solid start by Charles Oakley. A steal and a couple of baskets.
It's got to be special for Oakley playing here in his hometown city to hit the first couple of shots that he takes.
Knicks strong, Cavs sluggish, Fratello angry. Timeout at Gund Arena. Back in a moment.
Fratello not happy at all. They're down 6-0, but it was an official's call or non-call that got Mike upset.
Charles Oakley coming up way short on the tee. Let's listen. It sounded like it was all ball. Oakley on Mills. Sounded like.
Looked like a push, too, from the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
So the technical on Mike Fratello doesn't hurt him on the scoreboard. Hot Rod Williams hurts the Knicks with that jump shot. Their first points of the game. Smith up strong around Chris Mills. Missed the layup.
Very frustrating. Charles did it 90% beautifully, and then all of a sudden the ball goes flying off the backboard.
Cavaliers very efficient at moving the ball. Williams has 2 in a row. Now the basket will count. The foul is on Charles Oakley. First, there's going to be 1 free throw here. It's not often you see this.
Michael Cage will shoot 1.
Michael Cage will shoot 1. The basket counts. It's 6-4 Knicks. Second longest active streak in the NBA. One-time star at San Diego State, Michael Cage, makes it 6-5. Fratello, highly caffeinated.
I can't help but think of St. John's Lou Carnesecca when I see Mike act like that on the sideline. Patrick Ewing hitting the short jump shot. The next order of business for the Knicks on defense is to make sure there's a hand in Hot Rod Williams' face when he takes jump shots.
That successful shot by Ewing was his first shot in the game. Bobby Phils. Bang, rejected by Ewing. 3 on the 24, Terrell Brandon. Cage saves it right on the line and calls a 20. He just picked Patrick Ewing's pocket. Starks is pointing. He's out of bounds, but the officials say no.
Patrick clearly had the rebounding position in the ball, but just couldn't bring it in.
So the 22nd timeout was called. Michael Cage was just laying there looking for some kind of handle on the ball. Oh, that looked like it was out. But they didn't see it that way. He does coach with a lot of energy, sort of the way that oh, John, I'm vapor locking here. Who's the coach of the 76ers? John Lucas.
Johnny Lucas.
The way he used to run around when he was the coach at San Antonio. And I remember when the Sixers were in town, we remarked how he coaches the team differently. I heard him on later that night in a radio interview, and he did admit that he does completely coach the Sixers differently in mindset and energy than he did with the Spurs.
Well, he's into teaching with the Sixers, whereas with the Spurs he was managing.
You mentioned Lou Carnesecca when he was a coach in the ABA and did the same college thing in the pros that he did when he was at St. John's. He had more laryngitis cases than most people should have. Ewing guarded by the much smaller Hot Rod Williams. Oakley. Charles Oakley's hot. He's 3 for 3.
Well, the Knicks reacting beautifully. Ewing getting the double team, pitches it out immediately, and the open men are getting the good shots.
Cavs with a lot of motion on their offense. Another all ball slap away by Oakley. Saves it. Starks drives on Brandon. A soft one-hander with great touch.
That's what Pat Riley wants to see more of from John Starks, driving the basketball to the hoop. You draw fouls that way, and you demand respect also, which sets up your jump shot.
Knicks have had 2 6-0 runs in this game. They led it 6-0. Cavs came back. Air ball grabbed by Cage. Ewing can't stop the quick putback.
No box out. No body on Cage. He didn't have to climb over anybody. And you should. If you're an offensive rebounder, there should always be a body in front of you on defense.
12-7 Knicks, who have lost their last 3 of 5 road games, but they've won 10 of 14. So you can look at it optimistically or pessimistically. Bobby Phils leaves the game, and Tony Campbell, the one-time Knick, enters.
Bobby Phils, 9 seconds.
9 seconds on the 24-second clock. Harper, 6. Derek Harper slapped out by Oakley. Brandon is there, though. Okay. Hot Rod Williams. Rebound Cage. No basket, but there was a Knick foul. Michael Cage is hurting the Knicks inside. His role is, like Oakley's, to get rebounds, and he's obviously committed to that.
Michael Cage, 6'9" and wide. You can see nobody in front of him. I mean, it's just too easy when no one puts a body on you.
It's Cage and Oakley battling. Now Oakley jumps out and leaves him down low. Now gets back into position, switching to Chris Mills. That leaves Charles Smith on Michael Cage. Stolen by Chris Mills. Good hustle by Cleveland. Hot Rod. Fouled on the dunk attempt. It's on Ewing.
When a team double teams as much as most teams do these days, you can't lose sight of who your man is also. See Charles Oakley with his back to Williams ultimately, and by the time he turned around, Williams was already moving.
Yeah, it's amazing, John. These two teams play a very similar defensive style, and in this, you must be one-on-one defensively. The amount of time that any one player plays defending the same player is very limited. With all the switching and changes, Anthony Mason enters this game. Patrick Ewing leaves. So does Charles Smith. Herb Williams into the game for the Knicks as well.
With all of the great offensive talent there is in professional basketball, double teaming has become more and more of the way to play against good players. But what that means for the defensive team is they have to get, as we often hear, rotation from the other three players.
Knicks are not getting it done on the offensive boards, and Michael Cage is one of the big reasons why. Cage has 4 rebounds in the game, all by himself. Interior defense by Cleveland creates the steal. Oh, nice touch pass by Tony Campbell for Terrell Brandon. Fans into it. The Cavaliers have battled back to within 1 again. Oakley. Mason. Beautifully done by Anthony Mason, picking up where he left off.
That upper body strength came into play there by Mason, kept people away from crowding him.
Terrell Brandon all the way across for Mills. 10 on the 24. Under 5 minutes in the opening quarter. And another foul against the Knicks. John Starks, his first. It's Tony Campbell guarded by Mason. Mason's got a hand on him. Campbell misses the reverse, but there's that guy again, Michael Cage.
Cage is doing a Charles Oakley on Charles Oakley.
Starks comes right back. Knicks up 3, 4.5 to go. It's been a quiet stretch of games for Derek Harper. What did we count, John? 6 games in a row where he really hasn't had a strong statistical impact.
Yes, his last solid game was against Houston in that big win in New York a couple of Sundays ago.
Here comes the man of impact lately, Anthony Mason for Starks. Nice look. Oakley fought hard for the rebound, but Terrell Brandon forces the tempo of the game. Nice crossover by Chris Mills. John Williams gets in. The Cavaliers on the offensive glass they're killing the Knicks.
There's a team that shoots 43% from the field, which is very, very low, but they're killing the Knicks by following up those misses.
Tough pass intended for Herb Williams, saved by Starks. Herb's got the height advantage, but lost the ball. It just slipped out of his hands. Knicks started crisp, but things have been evened off. The much taller Chris Mills posting on John Starks, who denies him the ball.
Mills is 6'6".
Brandon fakes. Another putback. Chris Mills this time. It's Michael Cage. It's Chris Mills. It's Hot Rod Williams. They're all hitting the offensive boards.
It's an astounding display of ignoring the offensive rebounders by the Knicks.
There's a timeout at Gund Arena. 2:48 to go. Sort of a puzzling smile from Pat Riley.
And it's also very difficult to do. In that case, Mills just had no one in front of him. The Knicks are not respecting the commitment to offensive rebounding of the Cavaliers.
Now, work like that in terms of offensive rebounds will keep you in the game. If you're shooting 33% as Cleveland is, and the Knicks are shooting 57%.
Starks just threw a line drive inside to Herb Williams. Cage just reached right around him and slapped it away successfully, but while recapturing the ball. The bounce pass makes it more difficult for the defense to do that.
Every one of the Cavaliers is contributing. Chris Mills hits another. Mills has 4, Cage has 5, Hot Rod Williams has 8. 6 for Oakley, 6 for Starks. It's a 14-4 run. draws two. Williams is open. Now the switch. Now Starks for three. Way off.
Less than 2 minutes remaining first quarter.
See Brandon bringing the ball up slowly. That's predominantly the style the Cavs play now. They make the defense work very hard by doing this. Always looking for a better shot, looking for a cutter.
5 on the 24. Chris Mills. It rolls over the top of the backboard. Nick Ball. Mike Fratello likes what he sees. They're patient. They're working the ball around.
John Starks made an interesting point after the prior game that these two teams played. He said by the Cavaliers moving the ball as much as they do and using that 24-second clock, it tends to make the defense kind of relax in that the intensity isn't that great. The problem is that aggressiveness by the defense is lost, is sapped as Derek Harper comes through from the perimeter. So the Knicks have to tell themselves they've got to lift up and play harder throughout each 24-second sequence so they don't let down and let the Cavs ultimately pick them apart.
Remember that strategy that the Golden State Warriors brought into the Garden? Working the 24-second clock to 4 or 5 for every shot they took the entire game. And it got them a win. Charles Oakley is fouled from behind. A little push there. Oakley and Brandon. Now words from Cage. Oakley walks away.
Brandon has that look. What did I do to deserve a shove in the chest from Charles Oakley? Charles with the great position scoops that rebound down. Brandon, by his very existence, got a shot in the chest from Charles Oakley.
Brandon was called for the foul, so the Knicks will get it in their own backcourt. Last minute of the first quarter. Hubert Davis, 19 points in that big comeback win. Oakley throws it away, much too high for Derek Harper.
Charles just didn't look. He sensed where Harper was, but he really didn't get a better fix on where he was with that pass.
Brandon uses the screen and draws a foul. Knicks started crisp. Now all sorts of things are going wrong. But still, it's only a 1-point game. What the Knicks still have going for them is that the Cavaliers' first shots are not going in. John, it was really interesting to hear from Terrell Brandon in Knicks game night about how often he thinks about possibly, had he lasted one more slot in the draft, it was he, then Greg Anthony, what it would have been like had he been a Knick.
Well, with numbers like this, it would have been pretty impressive if those numbers would have carried over. He said it with a big smile, too, Al. You know, he didn't want to betray his loyalty to Cleveland, but like most professional athletes, the thought of playing in New York is a very pleasant one.
Cavs up 3, half a minute to go. 25 on the game clock, 16, so there's about an 8-second differential. Knicks lose it out of bounds.
18.7 remains. 18.7.
Oakley kind of zinging his teammate Herb Williams as he ran up court to be more ready for those passes. Herb impassively chose not to respond.
The wheels of the Knicks a little wobbly, and they'll get a pit stop in 4 seconds to get themselves together. But now the Cavaliers take advantage.
Great play by Brandon. He was all locked up by Derek Harper, and he took one extra step and used the backboard to finish a nice shot.
The whistle was to add 0.5 of a second to the game clock, so the Knicks will have 1.5 to make something happen here. Oakley gets it in for Harper, and that'll fall way short. So 1 quarter complete at Gund Arena. Mike Fratello likes what he sees. They're trying to break a 3-game losing streak. Terrell Brandon up and under 2 of the Knicks. They're up 5.
Over New Mexico.
And you know, we
transmission from a powerful V6.
For me, Toyota. And by Coca-Cola. Always jammin', always Coca-Cola.
What Pat Riley is going to say after tonight's game in Cleveland is anybody's guess. What he said after the Chicago game was interesting.
I didn't have one damn thing to do with the win. And, you know, you got to give those guys the credit they deserve for, you know, being virtually out of it and coming back and getting the win. It's a big, big win for us.
Pat Riley responding. You know, Al, the last couple of days, a lot of press being written about Pat's control of his players and how he handles them. And I think he wanted to bow out of that victory the other night and point to his players and pat them on the back.
It was an article by Peter Vesey that started a lot of the conversation, and then it was followed up by Fred Kerber in the Post, filled with comments from Tony Campbell, who's in the game right now. Tony calling Pat Riley, among other things, a dictator. My feeling, John, is that Tony Campbell should just shut up. His diminished minutes with the Knicks had nothing to do with Pat Riley being a dictator. They had everything to do with him just not playing well. I mean, I just don't remember a time in Tony Campbell's career with the Knicks where you said, we really need Tony Campbell in the game right now. It just didn't work out that way. So he becomes the poster boy for the Whiners Anonymous Club in my mind.
Well, Tony was frustrated out because when he joined the Knicks, a lot was said about how important he could be, including playing some shooting guard, which never happened. He had some good moments, but for the most part, he was a very frustrated member of the Knicks during his time there.
I think it's safe to say Pat Riley's a tough coach to play for, but so are all the other legendary coaches. List them. Lombardi, Adolph Rupp, that Pat Riley played for. Pick your sport, pick your legendary coach, and they probably have the same personality profile as Pat Riley, which made them legendary. The Cavaliers have scored 18 of the last 24 points after the Knicks' largest lead, which was 12-5. Fred Roberts is in the game, the one-time Milwaukee Buck.
How about that tyrant Lenny Wilkins, Al? No, I'm just kidding. I had to get you on that one.
Okay, you're right.
No,
there are other styles which can be used. Nicely done. Touche with a capital T.
I had to think hard, though. I must say that, Al.
Terrell Brandon, he runs a pretty tight ship. Even when the Cavaliers don't hit their shots, as they did in the Texas trip, hitting 36% from the floor. As a team, the entire game, the Cavaliers only committed 4 turnovers. Nice defensive sequence for the Knicks. Harper goes through, gives it to Mason, who hands it to Smith. Charles Smith returns with a cold hand. He's 0 for 3. Campbell. For Chris Mills, another nice look from Tony Campbell. Cavaliers are turning this into a very strong run. Their lead is 7. Harper penetrates.
Oh, what a gorgeous move by Harper. Then the left-handed finish.
Derek Harper has 4.
Brandon walking the ball up the court.
And what is this with Patrick Ewing being guarded a lot of times by Michael Cage or John Williams? He's taken only 2 shots. Ewing blocks Fred Roberts. Gets his own rebound. Offensive rebound, Zarama for the Cleveland Cavaliers, although they failed to score. Hubert Davis. Nick Guard's penetrating with success.
There is no real shot blocking by the Cavaliers. There's no threat, no intimidation by them, so the Knicks are charging inside.
Timeout on the floor in Cleveland with the Knicks back to within 3. Mike Fratello's not applauding this time.
Corner stretch.
Serious New York sports.
Where's Becker? Where's Becker?
Becker is back. Yes, Becker is back in Island Park with a treasure chest of great deals on new and used Chevys, Geos, and Dodges.
Where's Becker?
That's right. Becker is back with great service, great prices, great deals, and great financing. So you're sure to find the car you want at Becker Chevrolet Geo Dodge.
Where's Becker?
You'll find Becker right here in Island Park at 4101 Austin Boulevard, just off Long Beach Road.
Here's Becker. Save a treasure.
This, when looking for reliable service on any Nissan, make certain the price is guaranteed lowest. At Haberstadt of Huntington, you can now get the best service on your Nissan at the guaranteed lowest price on Long Island. Plus, you get the advantage of extended service hours and much more. Extraordinary service, convenient hours, lowest prices, guaranteed. At Haberstadt of Huntington, we'll take good care of you and your car. We guarantee it.
This window shopping is driving me crazy. Can't someone build a window that's maintenance-free on the outside?
But with beautiful warm wood on the inside.
And it has to be custom sized so there's no danger to the new wallpaper.
And tilting convenience for easy cleaning.
Why can't someone just build the perfect window?
Somebody just did. Introducing the ultimate window from Elegant Entries. All the convenience of vinyl replacements and all the beauty of the most expensive wood windows at a fraction of the cost. And right now, my ultimate window is available at incredible introductory prices.
Presents Sing Mama 2, the sequel to Mama I Want to Sing, starring Desiree Coleman Jackson at the Paramount, March 7th through 12th. Don't miss this hit musical that your whole family is sure to love. Tickets are on sale now at the Garden Box Office or Ticketmaster. To charge, call 212-307-7171.
Back underway in Cleveland, where the Knicks have cut the Cavaliers' lead down to 3. It's 25-22 for the home team. Danny Ferry has checked into the game for Cleveland. Bobby Phills back for Ferry, who's been very active for the Cavs lately. He comes up short after driving around Ewing. Steve Coulter is in at guard for Cleveland as well. It's Mason, Ewing, Smith, Starks, and Davis. So it's Starks as the point guard for the Knicks. Did it go up a foot? It did.
9 seconds.
Knicks maintain, and we'll have 9 seconds on the 24-second clock. Now they say it's a kick, as Pat Riley complained, and it's a full 24. We're at Gund Arena, which could easily be an arena for the Knicks for all the orange and blue that is around here. And it's full tonight for the Knicks and the Cavs.
Ewing can't hold that pass from Starks.
Steve Coulter out for Danny Ferry, looking very slim and trim. Coulter. Cage is off, followed by Bobby Phills. The Cavs are even getting offensive rebounds at the free throw line. Mason struts his stuff as he comes across midcourt. Knicks post up Smith on Ferry. He draws 2. Second pass finds the open man. Ewing strong on Cage. It counts. Now, this has really been a mystery for me why the Knicks have not been getting more shots from Patrick Ewing in a game in which the Cavs don't have a center.
He's automatically double teamed, although here he isn't until late, and he does get the shot off and in, and maybe a three-point play.
We're 16 minutes into the game, and that was Patrick Ewing's 3rd shot. And in a week in which he wrapped up a string of 5 straight 30-plus games, it's a little weird.
Patrick only has had one dominating game against the Cavs in their 3 prior games. He had a 35-point game, but in other games, Oakley and Starks were the respective leading scorers for the Knicks.
Fred Roberts with a lane violation, so Patrick Ewing gets a do-over. John Williams returns for Michael Cage. Well, he gave it his all on the floor. Michael Cage leads. And we'll check his numbers. They were just pulled from the computer. Cage leads 5 points and 5 rebounds. Now Steve Coulter, guarded by Starks. 2 fill-in point guards. Ferry's open. He's off. He's got a strange form on his jump shot. He jumps up toward the basket, which I would think would make him susceptible more often than not to having that shot blocked.
Well, in that case, there was no one on him, and I'm surprised he missed it as badly as he did.
Knicks respond to the Cavaliers' run. 7-zip, the run for themselves. Game is tied at 25.
Starks couldn't get away from Phil's.
Tough pass from Mason for Ewing. 5 on the 24. Ewing. So great from the baseline.
Oh, that's a tough shot. That was a one-on-one all-the-way move for Ewing. He's soared above the defender.
Patrick Ewing getting involved, and that could be big-time bad news for Cleveland. behind Hubert Davis. Lays it off for Fred Roberts. He's all sorts of tangled up by Mason and Ewing. Mason on the run. That's just beautiful.
He just floated by Danny Ferry.
He changed that shot, I'm going to say 3 times, John, from 3 feet in to the time he took it. It looked like it was going to go left, then it was going to be a finger roll right, then it was almost a reverse. Steve Coulter at the other end. Knicks up 2, 6:24 to go in the half. Hubert Davis. Ewing sees Oakley wide open, who sees Starks for 3. John Starks hits it on the Knicks, go up 32-27.
Oakley could have taken that shot, but he is ultra unselfish.
John Starks has been shooting only 31% in the games that he's played since he had that slight shoulder separation. So this 4 for 5 start for him is a very good sign.
Mason's hustle made Danny Ferry nervous on that last shot.
Mason will shoot 2, trying to increase this 14-2 run the Knicks enjoy.
That's his first and second.
Mason charging to the middle of the court.
Turn for the pass.
Ferry gets help. Mason gets the foul.
Now, John, when you look at the muscle that the Cavaliers can start the game with, Chris Mills, the Michael Cage up front, now you're looking at Fred Roberts. He's just not as muscular as those 2 guys. So when Mason takes him inside, you know, he can do a lot more, I think.
The way Mason's been playing lately, it's very hard for anyone to deny him, although Roberts is 6'10", fairly mobile, but Mason certainly holds his own.
Just doesn't have the muscles, you know. Roberts played in France and the CBA this year, last year Barcelona, 10-year NBA veteran.
But you know, Al, too, there are a lot of players who are slightly built, like Tyrone Hill of Cleveland, who's not playing. They're very strong. They just don't show it with their body size.
So you're sticking up for the physical.
No, I just want to make that point, though, because I remember that feeling. Oh, Mason just killing the Cavs. Big time. What a lift that is to Mason's teammates.
5:11 to go. Mike Fratello's got to slow the Knicks down. They've jumped in front by 8, 35-27, and guess who's in the middle of it? He's at it again.
Southwest Airlines.
It was the best first date I ever had. I mean, she was crazy about me.
I couldn't stand him. All he talked about was himself.
I can be a good listener.
He never shut up.
It's funny how 2 people can look at the same thing differently.
And I just hope she didn't think it was too, you know, serious.
Well, you know, he did have a good sense of humor.
To some, this is a great tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
What's the difference? I looked horrible anyway.
What a knockout.
Oh, they used to call me Stick Man. Stick Man, shake him to the ground. Stick Man, shake him.
To the world of mommies and daddies, boyfriends, girlfriends.
7 points, 4 rebounds. Anthony Mason into it.
Last 9 games, Mason's been tearing it up, averaging double-double points and rebounds. Now he's 8th in the NBA in field goal percentage. Mason is shooting 54% for the season and driving that ball hard by 3 Cavaliers on that last play. Another look at Mason's hesitation. Major commitment to the basket. The one before that, he was kind of floating. This one, he was driving hard.
And who did he muscle by? Danny Ferry and Fred Roberts.
He was too fast for them, not strong. Too fast. He's fast as well as strong.
There's some frightening numbers here for the Cavs. 2 for 14 in the quarter. 5 minutes to go. Knicks very impressive, 70%. Knicks on a 17-2 run. Hubert Davis commits the foul, and the Cavs will inbound.
Pointing out Mason's field goal percentage at 54%. That makes him the best shooting Knick player. Patrick Ewing at 51% from the field. Charles Oakley at 50%. Cavaliers do not have a player in the lineup tonight that shoots 50% from the field. Not one.
Hot Rod Williams, which from a Cleveland perspective is a much needed jump shot. Davis Davis sees Oakley. Mason. Now that'll be a loose ball foul. They say Mason pushed Chris Mills to get the rebound.
Many times Mason comes up with anger on an official's call. Here he comes up with a face like, who, me?
So you know he did.
You know he did, right?
I had a pretty good angle on that. I think there was a little contact, but that's how you get rebounds. And the Cavs getting sloppy, which they rarely do. Terrell Brandon with a rare turnover.
They're in a major offensive lull now, which is why the Knicks have blown by them.
Ewing dribbles out of the double team, almost traveled. Oakley's wide open. Bobby Phills grabs the miss.
I don't think Charles likes to shoot that much, but he has to with the wide open opportunities.
He's taken more shots than any Knick on the floor. That's Oakley's 6th shot. Ewing's only taken 4. Harper's only taken 3. Mason's 4. He's off the bench. Davis 1.
That was Chris Mills on that last jump shot.
John, I'm of the opinion that Derek Harper needs to take a few more shots for the Knick offense to be as successful as it can
What
be.
a gorgeous move by Ewing. Faking, moving like a forward on that play. Yes, they need his leadership. He's gotten too quiet in the backcourt.
Harper having a tough time staying with the quick Terrell Brandon, but he's got Knick defensive help. Hot Rod Williams. Tough luck on that one. More in than out than out. Mason. Davis dribbles away. Ewing's posting low. Off-target pass intended for Oakley. Brandon, good feed, fills. And Davis grabs him hard. So with 2 minutes and 52 seconds to go, Bobby Phills, one of those Cavaliers who has just played better in the absence of all the injured players.
Good ball movement by the Cavs now, lighting up an fast break opportunity. They can run when they want to, led by Brandon, and Phills can move. You know, Al, back to Harper for a second. At this point of the season, you know, at that 3/4 mark, just about, almost at the 3/4 mark of the season, it would make Pat Riley perhaps think maybe Harper's a little tired. Came into camp in great shape. He's playing 35 minutes a game on the average this season, which is a lot of minutes. And perhaps he could be showing some signs of fatigue. Only Ewing plays more at 37 or 38 minutes a game.
Well, maybe that's why Greg Anthony has reappeared on the scene in the last 7 games. Ewing tried to find Charles Oakley again. Tipped out of bounds. Pat Riley's gone on the record in a couple of ways talking about that situation. Davis has the ball picked off, recovers, 6 on the 24. Davis needs an open Knick. It's Ewing dribbling on Davis. 2 seconds. Rejected by Hot Rod Williams. It's a 24-second violation. Hot Rod Williams at 6'11". He doesn't look quite that tall, but he looked taller when he blocked Patrick Ewing.
Shot clock ticking down. Ewing going to the shot. Hot Rod hanging with him beautifully.
And that creates a lot of noise at Gund Arena. 2:20 to go. Knicks up by 3. Mason, a little creativity as he brings the ball up. Well, the needle on Anthony Mason's energy meter is really pinned lately. Everything he does is with so much intensity.
48 minutes of play the other night against Chicago and not a sign of fatigue.
That was Michael Cage's 11th rebound. The Knicks only have 16 as a team. 6 on the 24. They go to Cage. Way off. But his rebounding is fine.
He's complaining also to the official.
Well, The bricks are their fault too now?
Right.
Ewing well short. 1:15 to go.
Patrick being forced into extensive jump shooting tonight. He hasn't really rolled to the basket much.
Well, for the great start in this quarter and for the absolutely horrible shooting of Cleveland, the Knicks have obviously not taken advantage. Terrell Brandon hits a 2, and we've got a one-point game again. 37-36, last minute of the half. Bob Page is at the MSG Sports Desk. He will update you on a very entertaining day in college basketball. And whatever else is going on, Bob will have the story. Knicks gold cold in the last couple of minutes. Traveling is called. Knicks will have a shot with 39.5 to go.
Always like to go into the locker room at halftime with the lead, even if it's only a point. Knicks have that chance now. The Cavs finishing strong with a 9-2 run.
Each team has had 2 or 3 good solid runs. Mason. And he draws the foul.
Mason and 5 Cavaliers.
And he comes away the winner. First in the last 2 minutes, so there'll be no shots. Pat Riley responds immediately by sending Hubert Davis into the game because the Knicks can play for 1 and take, as you said, John, that lead into the locker room. Oakley leaves. So it's guard city out there for the Knicks. Harper, Starks, and Davis, Mason, and Ewing. 24-second clock is off.
Harper has the right to make the decisions now. Working with Ewing on a pick set.
Here it goes. Harper all the way. And it counts. Very dramatically done by Derek Harper.
That's not a smile. That's a grimace. He took a shot on this move. Crossover dribble. Beautifully done. And Harper swiped that. Came up with some pain, but he made the hoop. Michael Cage comes over. Bops him on the head, as you can see. Great move by Derek Harper. Now it's a smile, Al.
It took a while. Michael Cage's arms are like weapons. That had to hurt. He's the only Knick to have the durability to start every single game this season. And by the way, had hit a 3-point field goal in 30 consecutive games until going from beyond this 3-point line 2 nights ago. So the streak is stopped. Terrell Brandon with 2. 1 to fall away. And the Knicks will go to the locker room with a 3-point lead. Mike Fratello's Cavaliers doing a great job to overcome their horrible shooting in the quarter. Derek Harper maybe getting a little whiplash from that contact. He got hit in the head, but it seems like it's his neck that's bothering him.
But if you make the hoop, Al, it just doesn't hurt quite as much.
Mike Saunders, Nick Trainer checking in. 39 for the Knicks, 36 for the Cavaliers. We're at halftime at Gund Arena. When we come back, a full update from Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk. And of course, we'll have highlights and tell you who scored, how many. Stay with us on MSG.
The Rangers head for Landover to take on Joey Juneau and the Washington Capitals. Sunday night, right here on MSG.
This window shopping is driving me crazy. Can't someone build a window that's maintenance-free on the outside?
But with beautiful warm wood on the inside.
And it has to be custom sized so there's no danger to the new wallpaper.
And tilt-in convenience for easy cleaning.
Why can't someone just build the perfect window?
Somebody just did. Introducing the ultimate window from Elegant Entries. All the convenience of vinyl replacements and all the beauty of the most expensive wood windows at a fraction of the cost. And right now, my ultimate window is available at incredible introductory prices.
Enter the home of Hassett and Wanto, the ultimate full-service automobile dealership, and discover what thousands of your Long Island
and Wednesday evening. Boston has been a very troubled team of late, but tonight they're winning at Indiana at halftime, 56-52. Just a short time ago, the Pacers announced the release of Hot Plate Williams, the guy who had always seemed determined to eat his way out of the NBA. Also tonight, the Bulls, coming off that disappointing loss at the Garden on Thursday, taking on the 76ers down in Philadelphia. It is in the second quarter. As you see, Chicago is leading by the score of 64-53. Phil Jackson and company up by 10 going into the second quarter. Scottie Pippen gets the basketball to Ron Harper, who's been such a disappointment. Harper dunks. It's 33-28 Chicago there. And now off a Luke Longley steal, Harper gets the basketball again, lays it in to make it 53-38. He has 15 points in that ball game so far this evening. And now to replacement baseball in Florida today. Oh boy, huh? The Yankees beat the Mets 2-1 at Port St. Lucie. Both WFAN and WABC Radio had the good sense to refuse to broadcast these games, but Channel 9 went ahead with it, much to Dallas's chagrin. He certainly didn't want to be seen on camera there, and neither did Buck, who had threatened not to manage these guys. You can understand why when you look at this second inning play. A replacement named Marcus Lawton butchers a fly ball to left center, goes for a three-base error. That allowed the ersatz Yankees first run to score. Some progress in the baseball strike talks last night. They are meeting again at Scottsdale right now. We have heard nothing so far, but we do expect some kind of media briefing shortly. I'll be back with more right after we pause for these messages.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of road in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
Panthers up at halftime, 36-30. Mail had 12 points, as did Dwight Brown of Seton Hall in the half. Also tonight, Connecticut closing out its regular season with a game in Miami, and they trail by 2 points at halftime. In the MAC tournament at Albany today, Manhattan defeated Niagara 83-60. Now they'll likely face Fairfield after the Stags defeated Iona. More from us after the game. We'll return to Cleveland in just a moment.
While other Long Islanders are fighting beach traffic, breathing auto exhaust, and burning their feet trying to find their own little plot of shoreline, the hardest decision you have is what time should you go outside. Year after year, award after award, Pool Doctor builds Long Island's finest pools and spas. Call the Pool Doctor and see for yourself. 368-1330.
If you're shopping around for a new car, it makes perfect sense to visit the one dealership that displays the most popular brands. Hi, I'm Bob Neisner for all my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease a brand new Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, or Eagle, you're sure to find what you're looking for when you visit East Hills Chrysler Jeep. It's the one place you'll find a complete inventory without disappointment. And when it comes to price, you'll find my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep very, very customer friendly.
Welcome back to MSG's coverage of the New York Knicks. We're in Cleveland at the Gund Arena, where the Knicks lead by 3, 39-36. Time now for our scoring summary, brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Test drive an Eagle by dialing 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE. We'll start it off for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing leading the way, and how often do you see this at the half? Single digits for everybody. In a well-balanced Knick attack, a low-scoring one. Patrick Ewing only taking 7 shots in the half, hitting 4. Anthony Mason providing 7 points off the bench with 7 rebounds. The story for the Cleveland Cavaliers is John Williams. He has 10 points and 4 rebounds. Mills with 6, Brandon with 8, and Michael Cage has 5 points and 12 rebounds. Well, Al Trow again for Marv Albert, of course, along with John. And John, I am holding in my hand one of the weirdest pieces of paper we've seen in a long time. I mean, there are some numbers on here you can't believe. Charles Oakley, 1 rebound. Knicks out shooting Cleveland 50 to 30%. And they're only up 3.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. It's actually the kind of stat that would send people to the movies on a Saturday night, Al, if this continues. Very weird. Oakley 1 rebound in 20 minutes, and there are many other strange numbers as well.
I will take a look at the highlights from the first half, which tonight are brought to you by Minolta's 135EX. Minolta is the official camera of the Garden.
Knicks had a fast start, leading 6-0, and then the Cavs started hitting the offensive boards. Hot Rod Williams inside, no box out. Unfortunate timing for Mason on that one. And then also Chris Mills hitting the offensive boards, as well as the rest of his teammates. Really hurt the Knicks with these kind of plays. Mills got a good tip off the backboard on that play. 11 offensive rebounds to only 2 for the Knicks in the first half. Anthony Mason, however, turned it on in the first half, not only in the second, as he has done on occasion. Mason with a spectacular drive at one point. And Derek Harper, as the half wound down, crossover dribble on his way to the hoop, makes the basket despite that shot in the head from Michael Cage. That stretched the Knicks lead out to 3 points at the half.
Well, we're heading towards March Madness, and we've got a college-like score at the half in Cleveland. 39-36 Knicks. Second half in a moment.
Last year, I flew $250,000.
You, the world.
You know, I really hate it when my CD player dies before the disc finishes. So I use Energizer AA lithium batteries from Nobody Beats the Whiz. They just keep on going.
I'm going camping this weekend, and I love it. And I hate camping. If I want to sleep on dirt, I wouldn't vacuum. Fresh air, birds, trees, snakes, bears, poison ivy.
It's funny how two people can look at the same thing differently.
You stand in the clean, clear water and catch your own dinner. Well, you stand in the freezing cold water and catch pneumonia.
To some, this is a great tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
It's beautiful. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. It stinks. You're out there in the middle of nowhere.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the United States Postal Service. We deliver smart solutions for you. And by MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
The Knicks and Cavaliers writing a very weird stat sheet from the first half. It takes a man of legend, a man like Johnny Hoops, to make sense of it all.
10 more shots from the field for the Cavs because of their offensive rebounding advantage. That's big. 36 shots is not enough for the Knicks. Although they shot a good percentage, they need more shots. They're out-rebounded in the first half. The Cavs doing an excellent job, 25-18. Second chance points favoring the Cavs. Toyota matchup. The two big men, Williams holding his own against Patrick Ewing. Patrick, solid first half, but the numbers aren't very big.
Streaky, streaky, streaky was the first half. The Cavs led by 7 after a 26 run. That was in the first quarter. Then the Knicks responded with a 17-2 run to take an 8-point lead of their own. But they lead by 3 as we begin in the second half. And the offensive rebounds continue for the Cavaliers. That is rebound number 13 for Michael Cage.
And his seventh offensive rebound alone. The Knicks have 2 in the game.
Bobby Phills drives around Starks, coughs it up for Oakley. Michael Cage, we're talking about a player who in his career once had 30 rebounds in a game. So we've got a foul. Interesting little get-together at halftime. You see Gerald Wilkins as stylish as ever, mending from his ruptured Achilles tendon, sharing some time with John Starks.
A couple of 2 guards getting together. Good news for Gerald in the paper today here in Cleveland. He's on the mend quicker than expected and starts running this week.
The Knicks turnover gives the ball to the Cavs, so no scoring in minute 1 of quarter 3. Pat Riley yelling for Charles Smith to get up on Mills. Phills it is down low. Williams it is. Cage is open. As I said, he's a good rebounder.
Now Ewing was in front of him, and Phil's got that rebound over Ewing. Phil's a lot shorter than Patrick. That's what happens when you don't put your body on someone.
Brandon almost took a shot over Ewing, instead passed off, but drew a foul. Patrick Ewing commits the foul. That's his 3rd. Another weird thing that happened in the first half was that the Knicks owned the first half of each quarter, the first half of the first and the first half of the second quarter, and then the Cavs took the run for themselves from the 6-minute to the 12-minute mark in both first quarters.
I'd like to have that in 8ths next time, Al, okay?
Smith hits his first shot of the game.
Charles 0 for 5 in 10 minutes of the first half. The Knicks need him.
So it's Smith on Chris Mills, Oakley and Cage, Harper and Brandon, Ewing, Williams, Starks, and Phils. Williams, 5 on the 24. Bobby Phils, great hang time.
Nice first step, too, getting around John Starks.
Hey, John, you almost have to wonder, as Charles Oakley is the matchup with Cage, has he ever been out-rebounded at any point of a game 13-1?
I wouldn't think so. That's the numbers right now.
Ewing with the foul. Patrick Ewing will go to the line in an attempt to increase the Knicks lead from 5 to 6.
One of Patrick's favorite moves. He's into this move tonight in a big-time way.
Very judicious with his shots. Patient, too. 5 for 8 from the floor. A lot of emphasis was made when Patrick Ewing had that 5 games in a row over 30-point run in which the Knicks were 3-2. In the game notes tonight, they point out that when Patrick Ewing scores 30 or more, the Knicks are 9-5, so that's not great. Maybe he's taking it back a bit. John Williams has had a fine game in just about every respect. He's got 12.
Wide open. Why not make a foul shot? Meanwhile, that last foul shot by Ewing was the team's 6th foul shot of the game.
Ewing over 3 Cavaliers. Oakley gets the rebound and draws the foul. Ewing drew the triple team, and that left Charles Oakley wide open for the offensive rebound.
You got 2 shots, man.
Patrick Ewing coming over to the Knicks bench for a few tissues. He goes through just about a box and a half a game, I think.
Well, he got the good position down low for that soft shot, which Charles Oakley scooped up.
That was one of those funny things we saw, John, in our preseason visit to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Howie Singer, the CD-ROM wizard, and myself were there, and we went into the fantasy locker room. A shot we had on Knicks game night not too long ago, and in Patrick Ewing's locker in this fantasy locker room, they actually had a box of tissues. That's realism. Oakley hits the free throws, and it is the Knicks up by 6. Under 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Terrell Brandon does a lot of dribbling. But the Cavs usually get the ball where it belongs. Hot Rod Williams draws the foul. Called on Oakley.
Charles obviously likes the call, giving it some applause. Unless there's some other meaning to that.
He may be making fun of the call.
He did say Mike, and Mike Mathis, the official, was standing close to him, so I guess you're right.
Starks uses the forearm to guard Phils. Brandon hits Phils, who gets open. Smith up high for the rebound. Starks flicks it to Ewing. Patrick Ewing hits the shot. He's shooting at a great percentage in the game. Ewing to life with 14 points. Knicks up by 8. They match their biggest lead of the game. Cavaliers just don't have the offense to make a big comeback. They're going to want to stay close. Williams cuts it to 6.
Hot Rod getting those side jump shots and not much pressure on him all game when he shoots outside.
The big story for Cleveland has been Williams on the offense, Cage on the board. Starks for 3.
Boy, the Cavs remember the last time John Starks played a second half here. He was scoreless in the first half in the other meeting here and had 23 explosive points in the second half.
Starks 5 of 7, 12 points. Illegal defense called against the Knicks.
Warning.
It is a warning. The Cavaliers will just inbound with a fresh 24-second clock. Knicks have their biggest lead. 51-42. Harper presses his forearm to Brandon. Ewing jumps out, and there's a foul call on Derek Harper. Pat Riley saying, I don't know, he didn't touch him with the hand, he had the armband. The foul was called by David Jones. Knicks not over the limit. Ewing jumps out to trap. That leaves Williams open. Ewing then jumps off the trap to the boards. Nicely done by Patrick Ewing to get the rebound. Oakley's open. Terrell Brandon in no man's land for a guy that small, and he grabs the rebound. Williams wide open. Phils goes past Starks, runs into Oakley and comes down hard. But Hot Rod Williams hits the shot. Well, we know who got the worst of that collision. Harper gives up the shot for Smith. And Terrell Brandon has grabbed 2 consecutive rebounds uncontested. The game opens up. Ewing for another board. 8 for Ewing. You may have heard Pat Riley call out Mace as Anthony Mason gets up to re-enter the game. Oakley wide open.
Good look from John Starks. All of a sudden, the Knicks not hitting.
Guess who's grabbed the last 3 rebounds? Terrell Brandon, another one.
Talking to Ronnie Rothstein, the assistant coach before the game, he pointed out what a good job Brandon does on the boards. They want their guards to go to the boards and help out. That's what Brandon's doing.
Let's listen to this collision. Bills came down hard. No whistle on that contact. 5:56 to go in the quarter. Knicks up 7.
First of all, we have Jeff Riley from...
Tech has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Try Castrol Syntec, now also available in the 10W30.
Pat Riley has parting words for Anthony Mason as we move into the third quarter with 5:56 to go.
Just ask the official Woody Mayfield why there was no foul called on that Phil's drive when he fell down after contacting Oakley. He said that in their position, viewing it, Oakley was holding his position strong, and Phil's didn't go through Oakley on the drive enough to call an offensive foul. It's the words of the official.
You saw Mike Mathis, one of the other officials in the game, getting a smile from Pat Riley in their discussion. Tony Campbell into the game for Cleveland. He pulls up well short. Patrick Ewing just seems to be more and more involved in the good things the Knicks are doing. Ewing way out. Other one going now for Ewing.
That's timing, Al.
The jumper makes it a 53-44 lead for the Knicks. They match their biggest lead of the game at 9. Campbell. Riley wants Mason to get up on Campbell. Field goal percentage in the game is 51-31. 31 worse by a shot.
That's why Mason isn't chasing Tony Campbell, because he hasn't shown him a jump shot that he can make it.
Starks well short on the 3. Gets his own rebound. A very rare offensive rebound for the Knicks. Harper's pass way off target. Starks saves it. Pulls up for 3.
Amazing.
Oh, that hurts if you're a Cavalier fan.
What balance shown by John Starks, not only retrieving the ball, which is pretty tough itself, but then getting himself stationed to make that shot.
Knicks trying to break this open. 22nd timeout. They're up by 12. Boy, what a sequence this was.
John Starks just now finding that loose ball, getting it, recapturing the balance, and making this shot. Terrific play by John Starks.
In a game of runs, another run. 12-4, Knick run. John Starks obviously giving it his all physically, trying to smile through the heavy breathing. 4:34 to go. Knicks 56, Cavs 44. And again, you just look at the shooting percentages that Cleveland puts up lately, and you know, this team, when they get down into double digits in terms of a deficit, they've got a problem. Brandon guarded by Starks, one-on-one. A lot of talking on the floor. Ewing traps Mills. Hot Rod Williams is open. Another clang, another rebound for Cage. Harper fouls him. Michael Cage has 15 rebounds. 9 of the 15 are offensive. Danny Ferry back in. Tony Campbell, a very brief visit. In baseball, they'd say he had a cup of coffee. They don't say that in basketball, right?
No, Al. No, it's not yet anyway.
I just check with you always on things like that. Michael Cage breaking free, going back door and getting open.
Charles Oakley, worried about it, what everybody else was doing and trying to cover up, left his man wide open.
Harper. Boy, he's making Terrell Brandon work hard. That's a beautiful move by Derek Harper.
Derek getting more forceful in this game now with his offense.
It's Mason, Oakley, Ewing, Starks, and Harper. Mason jumps out on Brandon. This is something Brandon faces virtually every possession. Ewing on Williams. He'll give him that shot. He doesn't take it. 7 on the 24. Michael Cage with 4, with 3. Ferry with 2. Tipped out. Almost another Cleveland offensive rebound. Starks pulls up for 3. Another Michael Cage rebound. Make it 16. Mills for Williams. Oakley jumps out. Brandon somehow got free. Ewing thought Oakley was going to get him, and Oakley thought the other way.
Well, as the Cavs have picked up the tempo at their offensive end, they've made it more difficult for the Knicks, and they're getting better shots than they were before.
Timeout on the floor with 2:42 to go. Knicks up 10.
Envy of the neighborhood, a Pool Doctor swimming pool. An asset to your home that makes the sweltering summer heat your favorite pastime. While other Long Islanders are fighting beach traffic, breathing auto exhaust, and burning their feet trying to find their own little plot of shoreline, the hardest decision you have is what time should you go outside. Year after year, award after award, Pool
It's going to be another cold one with overnight lows expected.
If they had only called Elegant Entries, our patented steel-insulated door systems would have kept them warm and secure. Only Elegant Entries guarantees that every door, window, garage door, and patio door we install will keep the cold and the drafts out.
Wind and snow should continue till morning.
When it comes to your family's comfort, isn't it worth it?
For free shop-at-home service on a location nearest you, call Elegant Entries at 1-800-482-6900.
On January 6th at Cleveland, John Starks hit for 23 points all in the second half. And here's what he sounded like when he did it.
Okay, Mike. He
was happy. He was into primal screaming. In case you missed it, there it was again, and he was then told by the referee to cool it.
He was 0 for 2 from the field in the first half in that game, and then hit 5 out of 8 3-point shots in the second half to complete a 23-point second half.
Patrick Ewing called for the offensive foul. That's his 4th. And he'll take a break as Herb Williams comes in. Ewing had a brief exchange with a misbehaving fan. It was brief, it was verbal, but it did get his attention.
Chris Mills with the height advantage over Starks. The lead pass, 2 points for the Cavs.
Knicks up 8. 2 minutes and a little bit to go in the third. Tough pass, but Harper did get it into Mason. Now Oakley's open. Danny Ferry got position on Mason.
2 minutes. Last 2 minutes.
Brandon pulls up. 10. Chris Mills posts on Starks. Ferry for 3. Big shot by Danny Ferry.
His teammates are going to him with confidence now as Ferry continues to shoot that ball well.
60-53. Mason spins on Ferry, collapses. He's all right.
I don't know who's better between Oakley and Mason at retrieving a loose ball like that. They're both stars.
Ferry blocks Harper. Brandon on the run with Mills. Draws the foul and hits the hoop. Things were going so well for the Knicks.
He's 5'11". Look at the shot he takes and still makes the shot. And points to the official at the finish as he's sitting on the ground. Brandon protecting the ball well.
John Starks commits the foul and is replaced by Hubert Davis.
And Mark Price is absent. Over the last 22 games as a starter, Brandon has averaged over 17 points a game. He had 31 against Orlando, had a big 20-plus game against Houston earlier this week. In fact, he led the team in scoring in 2 of the 3 games on the Texas road trip this week.
Suddenly, it's a 4-point game. Another run. This one by Cleveland. Harper for Davis. That is the game clock you're looking at. 8 on the 24. 5 on the 24. Davis. Mason with the rebound. Knicks can settle for 1, but they take a quick shot. And it's Derek Harper.
Thanks to Anthony Mason's offensive rebounding strength.
Mason 7 points, 9 rebounds. Brandon. This will be it. He traveled. And the buzzer sounds. They'll put 1 second on the clock. Danny Ferry a little bit beyond his range. He shuffled his feet. Now the Knicks will have 1 second. Mike Fratello saying there are 4/10 of a second. What's this 1 second business? The Knicks will inbound right near their bench. It'll be Oakley for Harper with the long heave. Looked like he had it measured, but it's over the top, and the third quarter's done. 1 more to go. 62-56. Knicks by a half dozen. Back in a moment.
Exactly.
Go deep, Goofy.
Come into any Nobody Beats the Wiz store and enter to win an all-star vacation to Walt Disney World. Nobody beats the Wiz.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. And by Perry Ellis Menswear.
Well, you can see with our Delta Airlines upcoming Knicks schedule, the Knicks have a home-and-home with Boston starting Tuesday at the Garden, and then Friday it's the Knicks at Atlanta. There's Mark Price, the injured Mark Price, all-star. I can't believe he's 31 now, but he is, and he's the leading man on this in this backcourt. Until recently, he had a statement regarding Terrell Brandon, pointing out we're both having a good year and it's about trying to win, but we might like to play more than we are, and that's an issue that has to be addressed after the season. Brandon has been very impressive supporting Mark Price in his absence. Price can be an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 1996. He inquired about a contract extension last fall, but was rebuffed before the Cavs awarded Brandon a $7 million balloon payment for the 1998-99 season. So it will be an issue, there's no question, because they're both first-class point guards.
Start the fourth quarter with a Cavalier steal by Danny Ferry. A quick look for Greg Dreiling, and he was shooting before he was catching, and so it's out of bounds. Now again, in the third quarter, it was the Knicks in the first half of the quarter who owned the game, and in the second half of the third quarter, the Cavs came back. So that little weird note continues. Knicks by 6. They led by as many as 12. Hubert Davis is hit. And all right. Greg Dreiling getting his first foul.
Been a quiet game for Hubert Davis. Played 12 minutes in the first half. Only took one shot and made it. Looks very quiet in the three-point department tonight, Al.
Harper for Hubert Davis. Davis guarded by the bigger Chris Mills. Now Cage jumps over. He's trapped along the side. Knicks whip it around. Harper gets away from Dreiling. 5 on the 24. Williams from way out.
An amazing defensive sequence by the Cavs. Tremendous defense, and Herb Williams sends them away. Very unhappy with that terrific shot.
Now to react to all that ball movement by the Knicks and have a man on every Knick who got the ball. You're absolutely right. Danny Ferry. Nice touch.
Oh, off the backboard. Beautifully done by Ferry. From an angle where you want to use the backboard. You don't have to be as delicate with the shot. Being midair as he was as he moved to the hoop.
5 points for Danny Ferry. All here in the second half, and in the last 3 minutes, Davis pulls up. That's short. It's another rebound for Michael Cage. Make it 17 for Michael Cage off the boards.
Hubert has to shoot a few to get his range. He hasn't shot much tonight.
Davis 1 for 3 in the game. It looked like the Cavaliers were going to ride on Danny Ferry's back for a few minutes, but he misses there. Davis, Harper. Some Knick big man's got to be wide open.
Dreiling on Harper.
Foul on the play. Patrick Ewing and John Starks return. Oakley leaves. John Williams back in. Foul was on Greg Dreiling. Everybody was over at Mama Oakley's house last night again, John. They had their dose of chitlins. Charles was even nice enough to bring a doggy bag of sweet potato pie for Mike Saunders, the Knick trainer, who couldn't be there. Ewing, he hits right off the bench and back into the scoring column.
You see the bounce pass by Starks, so easy to catch for Patrick Ewing and then do what he wanted with the ball instead of the line drive passes.
Coulter behind his back, kicks it for Ferry. Not this time on the three, so he's missed 2 in a row. Davis goes low post to Ewing. Williams is open, so is Starks, wide open. Another Cage rebound.
Mason got mashed on that play.
Knicks by 8. Coulter threw everybody, almost threw it away. Hot Rod Williams. Ferry can't handle it. And the Knicks break out. Starks rifles it for Davis.
You notice, Al, with Brandon out of the lineup, the Cavs are moving much more freely, and that style of game is favoring the Knicks. Getting much more done now with a faster pace game. Brandon's now checking back into the lineup for Coulter.
Yes, he is. Coulter's out, Brandon's in. Fred Roberts is also back into the game. So for Cleveland, it's Mills, Ferry, Hot Rod Williams, Fred Roberts, and Terrell Brandon.
Mike Fratello has to go bigger now because of Herb Williams and Ewing out there. And that's Fred Roberts.
Foul outside before the shot. This is one of those times that Pat Riley's going with both of his centers, Herb Williams and Patrick Ewing.
Roberts is 6'10", and John Williams is 6'11", and Ferry is also a big guy, so Fratello has to respond.
Cavs have lost 3 straight games coming off an 0-3 trip through Texas. Knicks coming off their big 22-down comeback against the Bulls. Ferry for 3. Well, he hit 1, but now he's missed his last 3. John Starks is the point guard for the Knicks, so Greg Anthony is out of the rotation tonight. Ewing. Fred Roberts gets the rebound. Both teams have gone cold here. Under 8 minutes to go. for somebody. It's back to the point man, Brandon. 10 on the 24. Brandon, great pass. What a pass from Fred Roberts.
Knicks so concerned about double teaming the ball, they left a wide opening under the hoop.
Knicks lead is 6. Starks all the way. Gets the bounce on the reverse.
John Starks explosive and really back in the picture as a Knicks offensive threat tonight.
Ewing has 18. Starks has 17. They're both shooting the ball extremely well. Berry again. You know, he might want to just give up on that.
Oh, three Knicks under the basket. The ball goes right out of Patrick Ewing's hands.
16th offensive rebound for Cleveland. Knicks have only 5. They're trying to get the ball to Danny Ferry, who was guarded by Starks, and he draws the foul.
Timeout.
With 6:44 to go, the timeout is called here at Gund Arena in Cleveland with the Knicks up 8.
Plus, check out great deals on the all-new Eagle Talon.
Oh, thought he'd never leave.
Test drive a Vision at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
MCS Cannon, let us show you the possibilities. Here is the MCS Cannon. Great teamwork play. Very simply done. The simple things are the prettiest and most effective. Bounce pass from John Starks into Ewing. A little fake on Michael Cage, and a short jumper for Patrick. None of these games are easy for the coach. Knicks have been holding the lead in this game.
Cavaliers shooting only 29% in the quarter, but they're giving the Knicks a go. This is one of those nights you're afraid to look at the stat sheet because you don't know what you're going to see. They're posting up Bobby Phills. Hubert Davis has really got a challenge to keep him from getting position. Chris Mills in trouble. Here he goes. Bobby Phills on Hubert Davis, but Davis got help. But the Cavs get the foul call.
Illegal defense.
Illegal defense is the call. So that'll get a technical free throw attempt for the Cavaliers.
Call that on Ewing.
Patrick Ewing is talking this over with Mike Mathis. Not going to win the debate, but he's giving it a shot. Brandon hits the free throw, so the Knicks lead is 7, and Cavaliers ball with 6:25 to go. We got 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Knicks have 68 points. A lot of traffic inside. Hot Rod Williams, they get it back out to restart it. Knicks very active defensively. Hot Rod Williams rejected by Herb Williams. Hubert Davis up the floor. Quick look, Mason. What a powerful move with a foul.
And Bobby Phills went for a ride along the right arm of Mason, who wasn't bothered at all. Herb Williams on the block. Knicks get a fast break opportunity. Hubert gives it up to Mason, who is flying, and the finish. Another look at it now. Phills tries his best to stop Mason, but Mason's too strong.
Knicks go the entire length of the floor with one dribble. One dribble off the rebound. 71-61. Little breathing room now for New York. But the Knicks are really giving the Cavaliers problems with their defense. Bobby Phills. 5:40 to go. 18 for Ewing, 17 for Starks, 10 for Mason with 10 rebounds. 16 for Hot Rod Williams, 14 for Brandon, 11 for Mills, and 18 rebounds for Michael Cage. Ewing in position. He traveled.
Fratello delivering his message to Michael Cage. Set play now. Brandon handling the ball. Williams out high for the pick.
It's called too low, so I'm going to assume Bobby Phil's somewhere down low, right? Well, that didn't work because the Knicks defense picks the ball off.
You mentioned a low-scoring game, Al, but the Knicks are playing the Cavs game as far as defense goes as well.
Michael Cage with another powerful rebound. Starks inside for Mason, lets it go, quick release. John Starks hits the three.
Bobby Phillips was close to him too, but Starks is in the zone, it appears, where everything he throws up is around that rim.
Knicks up 11. Starks gets some help from Ewing to keep Brandon busy. Intercepted again.
Oh, nice recovery by Hubert Davis, who had fallen down.
Starks jumps out, looks quickly from Mason. Mason draws the foul. Herb Williams and Charles Oakley are trading places.
That's his third team foul.
Chris Mills is called for the foul, his third. And Anthony Mason and the Knicks will inbound the ball.
Well, that's a team player. Anthony Bonner dressed beautifully. Greets his teammate with a little chest bump. That means Herb Williams' sweat is all over that beautiful suit and tie of Anthony Bonner, and it doesn't bother him. Now, there's a team player. How many people would do that, Al?
And you know Herb was pretty sweaty. Davis wide open. Oh, he's going to hit that so many times. Hubert Davis hits the shot. The Knicks are up 77-63, and with 3:43 to go, in great shape at Gund Arena. Timeout.
The Rangers head for Landover to take on Joey Juneau and the Washington Capitals. Sunday night, right here on MSG.
Ah, the envy of the neighborhood, a Pool Doctor swimming pool. An asset to your home that makes the sweltering summer heat your favorite pastime. While other Long Islanders are fighting beach traffic, breathing auto exhaust, and burning their feet trying to find their own little plot of shoreline, the hardest decision you have is what time should you go outside. Year after year, award after award, Pool Doctor builds Long Island's finest pools and spas. Call the Pool Doctor and see for yourself. 368-1330.
Save me! Save me! Save me! I'm being held here at Franklin Square Ford, and you can save me and dozens of other Benjamin Franklins when you buy any new Ford, a new conversion van, or a quality pre-owned car at Franklin Square Ford. Don't let them keep me here another minute when you can put me in your pocket and have a new Ford in your driveway too. Franklin Square Ford, 690 Hempstead Turnpike, Franklin Square.
This window shopping is driving me crazy. Can't someone build a window that's maintenance-free on the outside?
But with beautiful warm wood on the inside.
And it has to be custom sized so there's no danger to the new wallpaper.
And tilting convenience for easy cleaning.
Why can't someone just build the perfect window?
Somebody just did. Introducing the ultimate window from Elegant Entries. All the convenience of vinyl replacements and all the beauty of the most expensive wood windows at a fraction of the cost. And right now, my ultimate window is available at incredible introductory prices.
Well-timed shooting by Hubert Davis, giving the Knicks a 14-point lead now. Our AT&T long-distance shooting three-point leaders. Hubert Davis, number 3 at over 45% from the field. Hubert hasn't had one tonight until now. It's his first 3 of the night. The Knicks have 5. Hubert has 1 now. It's John Starks with 4.
Hubert Davis out of the game. He did his thing and gave the Knicks the 77-63 lead. Knicks 5 of 12, Cavs 2 of 10. Much more of a weapon for the Knicks tonight, obviously. Chris Mills gets inside and draws the foul from Charles Oakley. Oakley just could not resist challenging the shot.
Mills had the shot all the way, and then Charles just fell into the trap. But you'll see Mills just right at the basket going up. He had it all the way, and Charles wanted to lay a body on him. Charles loves to bang hard.
Free throw rolls off. A hand-slapping rebound. I love those. Patrick Ewing grabbing it. 3:20 to go. All alone is John Starks. He makes the Cavaliers pay for forgetting about him. He hits another three, and the Knicks lead it by 15 points. Hot Rod Williams. All net. 16 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds for John Williams. Starks for Harper. 2:45 to go.
Knicks doing a big job defensively. The fewest points scored against the Knicks this season was 74 by the Los Angeles Clippers in late January.
John Starks with 1 on the 24. It's a rebound grab by Mason, who is quickly fouled. With this break in Cleveland and Mike Fratello not too happy, let's get an update from Bob Page at the sports desk. Bob?
Al, at Miami, Connecticut trailed by 2 at halftime, but has come from behind to win. Kevin Ollie beats Travis Knight for a key dunk down the stretch. UConn finished the Big East season 16-2 as regular season champions.
Okay, Bob, back at Gund Arena, 2:30 to go. Anthony Mason hit the first free throw, so the Knicks are up 81-67. Mason, another very, very strong contribution to this Knick effort. He's got 11 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. And Michael Cage, we've been following it the whole game, so I might as well finish it off, John. He's got his 20th rebound. Danny Ferry finds the range again. He had lost his touch for a while. Question is it too late for Cleveland? 81-70. Starks, Mason, Harper. Knicks are using the clock. They go to Ewing. Ewing a jump hook. And Mason was in better position than Ferry, and it costs Danny Ferry the foul.
Ferry was trying his best to block out Mason. When you match the relative strength of those two players, you know Mason's going to come out on top.
Mason hits the free throw. Next up for the Knicks, it's the Boston Celtics at the Garden, and game night begins our coverage Tuesday at 7 here on MSG. 13 points for Anthony Mason. Knicks have a 12-point lead again. We're under 2 minutes to go. It's not the return from the 3 losses in Texas that the Cavaliers had hoped for, but they're still trying to stay in it.
Williams so reliable with the jump shooting tonight.
90 seconds left. Oakley for Harper for Starks. Lets it go for 3. That should just about do it. Knicks by 14 as they go 3-point crazy here in the 4th quarter. And boy, did they hit the threes. They've been shooting it at about 40% lately. Tonight, 7 of 15. So that's up at 50%. A little bit under. Now 1:05 to go, and they're headed for the exits that'll take them out to the streets of downtown Cleveland. Next door, Jacobs Field, which is beautifully lit tonight. The home of the Indians. Starks hits another 3. John Starks has 7 3-pointers. He has punched the lights out of the Cavaliers. 56.1 to go. The Knicks are all smiles, trying to make it 2 in a row.
Just as he did here earlier this year. Another 3-point shot for John. 7 threes by John Starks for the game tonight, and is he happy?
And without the screaming. For every three-pointer John Starks makes this season, Minolta will donate $100 to the John Starks Foundation. So the old foundation got at least $700 just tonight. We're playing out the final seconds at Cleveland. The Knicks will even the season series, and this has been a weird night on the stat sheet. It's been a weird series because in the 4 games, the road team has won every time. That's completely against the odds.
John Starks, 7 threes, ties a Cleveland opponent record. Chris Brienza of the Knicks PR staff just told us that.
That's surprising. I mean, 7. I mean, it's a great effort, but you would think that in 25 years, which the Cavaliers are celebrating this year, someone would have lit them up more than that. Ewing hits the side of the backboard. Starks for another one. 24-second clock expired. 10 to go. Fred Roberts. And this will do it as John Starks just hugs the ball and smiles. That's it. He just hugged the ball, let the seconds go. And Anthony Bonner's dry cleaner somewhere in the New York area is smiling because after all those sweaty chest bumps, that suit's got to be clean. The Knicks clean up on the Cavaliers tonight, 89-76. They own the 4th quarter, which has become their custom. We will be back with our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Pat Riley and more on MSG in a moment.
Hundreds of natural forces.
Tell me more.
Well, now you can handle most slippery.
Well, the Knicks have put together a couple of wins tonight. Very impressive in the 4th quarter again. So it's 2 in a row, 1 over Chicago, 1 over Cleveland. The final once again 89-76. It was a night for John Starks just to enjoy. So much so he just hugged the ball and let the clock run out as Starks shoots for 29 points, hitting 7 3-pointers, 11 of 18 from the floor. Knicks very happy as they leave Gund Arena. Mike Fratello not. Maybe reality is starting to set in with the Cavaliers. You know, they've been doing without for so long, for so many games this season, but now they've lost 4 straight games, and they want to make sure they don't fall out of the race in the Central Division, which they're in danger of doing. We'll have lots more to come, but first, let's go to Bob Page.
All right, thank you, Al. So the Knicks have atoned for that embarrassing loss at the Garden recently to the same Cleveland Cavalier team who that night was playing without 5 starters. If you saw this one in its entirety this evening here on Madison Square Garden Network, you know that through the first 3 quarters, there was no way this tape was going to be sent to the Museum of Broadcasting here in Manhattan to be held for posterity for future generations to see. Not particularly well played until the Knicks exploded in the final quarter en route to their victory tonight in Cleveland, 89-76. Pat Riley, right off the bat, saw some good ball movement by his team. Knicks with the basketball, Ewing to Smith, to Cleveland native Charles Oakley for the jumper. Hit his first 3 shots, pumped up about being back at home. But the Cavaliers came back. Chris Mills steals from Anthony Mason, who played so brilliantly against Chicago the other night, passing to ex-Knick Tony Campbell. Nice touch pass to Terrell Brandon. Game tied at 12. The end of the first quarter, Brandon drives on Derek Harper, ducks under Herb Williams for the jumper with 1 second left. Comical shot of Mike Fratello frantically racing down the sideline. Cavs led by 5 going into the second quarter, where John Starks feed Mason down the lane for the emphatic slam. New York on a 14-2 run. They led 35-27. Second quarter winding down. Harper knifes through the lane, hits the layup, and gets the call. Knicks led only 39-36 at halftime. Former Knick Gerald Wilkins out for the season with that Achilles problem, renewing acquaintances with John Starks. Derek Harper in the 3rd quarter now has his pass stolen. Loose ball picked up by John. He loses his balance, then drills a 3. Riley and company have their biggest lead up to this point at 56-44. Late 3rd, Brandon on the run. Great layup over Starks. Knicks up by 4, and they led 62-56 going into the 4th quarter, where Patrick Ewing gets the ball down low, hits 2 of his 18 points. Knicks up 66-58. Interesting sequence here. Herb Williams blocks Hot Rod Williams. Hubert Davis goes the other way and then passes to Mason for the slam. New York's lead was 10. Starks, of course, was on fire. He hits his 3rd straight 3 and 7th of the game, en route to a game-high 29 points. Knicks up 17 there with 56 seconds left, and the contest over for all intents and purposes, certainly. Knicks now take on the Boston Celtics in a home-and-home series beginning Tuesday night at the Garden and then being played in Boston on Wednesday evening. Tonight, the Celtics playing at Indiana against the Pacers. They led at halftime, and look at that, they're winning big now by 12, 94-82 in the 4th quarter. Perhaps Indiana was demoralized by the earlier news that Hot Plate Williams had been released, a guy who basically has eaten his way out of the NBA. The weight problems continuing, and Indiana to take his place signed one-time Temple forward Mark Strickland. Also this evening in the NBA, down at the Spectrum, the 76ers playing host to the Chicago Bulls. They're in the 4th quarter. Chicago holding on to that 8-point lead, 92-84. In the NBA at Dallas tonight, Detroit and the Mavericks tied at 47 at halftime, and rounding out the abbreviated schedule, Denver and the Clippers at 10:30 start. There was an afternoon game today, the only matinee. The Utah Jazz won for the 4th straight time. They hammered the Portland Trail Blazers at Salt Lake City 98-81. Karl Malone and company with a 2-game lead over surging San Antonio in the Midwest. Game was tight through the first 3 quarters off John Crotty's miss. David Benoit with a pretty spin move. And then off a miss by the mailman, watches Benoit slams it home. Utah would outscore the Blazers 30-16 in the 4th quarter to put it away. Malone wound up with a game-high 30 points, 16 of 21 from the free throw line. Not much PJ could do about it. Speaking of PJ Carlissimo, his team, former team, Seton Hall, taking on Pittsburgh in the Meadowlands Arena this evening. Seton Hall has really struggled of late, and they lost to lowly Pitt 76-72. Jason Mayle had 25, a career high for him to lead the Pittsburgh Panthers. Griffin and Brown had 16 each for Seton Hall. Also at Miami tonight, the game we showed you a highlight of just a few moments ago, University of Connecticut stormed back in the 2nd half, and they defeated the Hurricanes 75-67. Highlights of both those games, and our next report in just a few minutes from now. We'll go right back to Cleveland after these messages.
When you read the New York Times, people think you like to read about economic embargoes and global warming, when in fact, a lot of our readers prefer to read about real estate.
I may be looking for a place on Pennsylvania Avenue.
The New York Times. Read what you like.
Maybe a big white house with pillars.
In 5 minutes, Eva.
If you're talking my game,
You don't know, you better ask somebody.
you're talking Foot Locker.
Now that you have been updated, welcome back. The Knicks over the Cleveland Cavaliers here at Gund Arena tonight. Better than 20,000 watched. And what they saw in the 4th quarter was John Starks just go 3-pointer crazy. Since he separated his shoulder 7 games ago, he's been shooting at 30%. Tonight he flirted with 60. John Andres is with him at courtside.
Thank you, Al. John Starks, you got the touchback tonight in a big way. First of all, let's talk about how you deal with these tough Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's very difficult. They're the type of team who likes to slow the ball down. As you see, they really don't run that much. You know, they do a good job of playing control offense.
John, how do you make them play the tempo you want to play? What's the key to that?
I think the key is to getting out to a lead where they have to run. And I think once we start getting out to a bigger margin where they have to play catch-up basketball, then that's in our favor.
But, John, the offensive rebounding for the Knicks was very difficult tonight because the Cavs were doing such a terrific job in that department. Was that a subject of Pat Riley's conversation at halftime?
No question. You know, they had 7 offensive boards going into the halftime. You know, we just had to block out, and I think in the 2nd half we did a good job of that, keeping them off the offensive boards.
John, your touch now returned big time tonight. I know since you had that partial dislocation of your left shoulder 7 games ago, your shooting percentage has been down. It's been difficult for you. Has the pain gone away finally?
A little bit. And, you know, tonight I just said I'm just going to come out and just play and not even think about it. And, you know, you see what happens when you do that. You know, I just felt good doing a shoot-around that, you know, that my touch was there. I was shooting the ball extremely well doing shoot-around. So I think I can get a feeling when I'm coming into the game whether or not I'm going to shoot very well.
John, how did the team react after that shocking win the other night at Madison Square Garden? I mean, the fans had to be shocked. Certainly the Bulls were shocked, and I'm sure to some degree that the Knicks were.
No question. You know, the fans had played a big part in that game. I think if probably we was in Chicago, we probably wouldn't have came back. I think the energy that was in the Garden that night, you know, propelled us to come from behind.
Is that a situation that carried over to tonight where you didn't want to have a letdown?
I think that was the biggest win of all of the season. I think coming back on Chicago from a 20-point deficit and to come in here and play the way we did, I think it's just going to propel us into having a good ending season.
John, is it safe to say now that John Starks' touch is back?
I hope so. I'm just going to continue to go out there and just play and not think about the pain and you know, do whatever I have to do out there on the court.
Well, John, congratulations on a terrific performance tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you again Tuesday at the Garden.
All right, thank you, John.
Let's go back to Al Troutwig.
A little less pain and a lot of gain for the Knicks tonight as they beat Cleveland 89-76. If you were the home team in this 4-game series, you lost because the home teams were 0 for 4 as it wraps up 2-2. Now the Knicks take on their Atlantic Division rivals, the Boston Celtics. Tuesday, game night begins our coverage on MSG at 7. Can't be with us on cable. Join Mike and Clyde on the Fan. Coming up next, we'll have Pat Riley's press conference. More chit-chat. We'll look at the stat sheet. That's on the Knicks post-game report as we continue in just a moment. Announcers clothing for MSG provided by Perry Ellis Menswear. The producer of Knicks basketball is Howie Singer. Tonight's game was directed by Bill Webb. This is Al Troutwig with John Andres. We'll see you in a moment on the post-game report.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Ice Draft. Taste the future of draft beer. New Ice Brewed Ice Draft from Budweiser. By Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp, because great hair can't have flakes. By AT&T International Business Services. Let AT&T work for you. By the Discover Card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Hungry? Want Knicks?
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
This is the Knicks post-game report, a 4-game series in which there is no home court advantage. The Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers split it right down the middle, 2-2, and they will not meet for the remainder of this season. 89-76. 3-pointers falling for the Knicks tonight in a fourth quarter in which the game was decided. Pat Riley met with the media here in Cleveland moments ago. Let's listen in.
Any questions?
What are you guys doing different here in Cleveland?
We were very patient, tonight, I thought, and they got, totally away from us in New York in the first half. Played flawless game. They shot, the heck out of the ball. We were just better defensively, more patient, and offensively, and we got some good play, obviously, out of John. John was hot. We were finding him, so it was just a good win.
Is there a little bit of redemption factor involved?
No, it's not there. We know just right now it's, with Charlotte at 21 and Indiana was at 22 losses, Cleveland's at 23, so I mean it's really staying ahead of this pack of guys, this group of teams, and so from that standpoint we pick up a full game on Cleveland tonight. So, but it had nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with with what happened in New York. Just wanted to win.
Coach, can you talk about the upcoming back-to-back with the Celtics?
I think they won tonight. I don't know what the score was, but I looked up and saw a score where they beat Indiana, or they were ahead of Indiana. I don't know for sure, but they're playing much better. They're playing Xavier McDaniel, and they're playing Raja, and Montrose has really improved. Douglas is playing well. D. Brown's been averaging about 25 a game in the last 6 games, so they're really a much improved team. It seems as though they settle in on a certain combination of guys, and and very physical front line. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game, tough back-to-back series.
Did John help you man?
Well, I don't. You know, he's been struggling with it. He hasn't been able to practice hard. You know, but he just felt, you know, he got off tonight. You know, he looked pretty good, felt good, and obviously his shot was going. And, you know, those nights that he's missing those shots, everybody says it's, you know, so it's one of those things you have to deal with.
You had a pretty big night the last time you guys were in here.
Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, he broke out of his early season slump up here last night, you know, last time. But he was good on his shot. He was lifting on it. He was confident with it, taking good shots, you know, in and out.
What'd you guys do in that? It was like a 17-2 run. You were down like 25-18, then you ran out to like 35-28.
We got off to a good start, and then, you know, we just didn't play well for a while. We were very impatient offensively from a post-up standpoint, and, you know, then we got back in it, you know, in the second quarter, again, played well. We had a bad stretch of about 6 minutes.
Pat, do you think teams find the Cavaliers hard to prepare for because of the style they play?
They're not hard to prepare for. I mean, they're very methodical. You know what they're going to do, but they're so good at executing it. And, you know, at this particular time, I think, you know, you have to really understand that they're not undermanned, but they don't have their best players. I think they had a great run in winning games without Price and Tyrone Hill. And so maybe right now at this particular time it's catching up with them a little bit, but you know, they're solid. They're fundamental and solid, and they're very patient. But if they're not hitting their perimeter shots, you know, on a regular basis, then, you know, you can probably do something against them.
After the ball game, May said maybe it was a turning point just to come back like that. Do you feel it?
Well, I know, I'll tell you what, it was, I mean, it was simply a great, as I mentioned the other night, a great effort to win the game, and sort of, you know, cleared up the funk of the Orlando game, and it's really, you know, moving on. And you know, 2 solid wins in a row. We got back-to-back games at Atlanta, then we got Seattle next week, so we got a full schedule, 4 games in 5 nights.
How important is to hold off the Charlottes and the Indiana?
It is very important. You know, Charlotte's out on the coast. You know, they won, you know, last night big in Golden State, so, you know, we just got to keep winning, you know, and, you know, just keep winning.
You guys showed a real killer instinct tonight, too, especially from John at the end.
Well, we just played well. You know, we played well, and we're, you know, pretty much ahead 6, 7, 8 points. I thought one of the biggest plays of the game, we were right at 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. Herb blocked the shot. And I think at that particular time, we took off on that. We scored in that transition, scored again in the next possession, and I think from that point it went from, you know, 7 to 9 to 13. And but that was, I think, a real turning point in getting over that hump, that close game hump for them. Okay?
Thanks.
Pat Riley's press conference concluding moments ago. Al Trautwig with John Andres. I was interested to hear Pat Riley almost admit that there was an Orlando hangover. I mean, all the players say no, I don't think it has anything to do with it, but Pat Riley said the win against Chicago helped get rid of the, in his words, Orlando funk. To me, that's an Orlando hangover, and I think that was interesting to admit that there was an emotional carryover from that game.
Yes, Al. Also, I don't think Pat would say it, but I think the Knicks wore down the Cavaliers in the second half tonight. Their strength on the boards and their overall team strength, I think, just wore these guys out there. Now they have their 4th loss in a row. Also, the Knicks shot the ball well tonight at 49%. That's a very important number for them.
It's been a night of weird numbers on this stat sheet. I'm looking down, and Charles Oakley played 38 minutes. Did good things defensively, but for some reason has 2 rebounds. How do you figure that?
Maybe it must be a misprint. Can't be.
Well, the Knicks were led by John Starks, who had 29 points tonight. He shot 11 of 18, 20 points by John Williams, and 20 rebounds by Michael Cage on the other side of the story. We'll be back with lots more to talk about as the Knicks beat Cleveland here at Gund Arena.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
And we continue on the Knicks post-game report live from Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. We're on the shores of Lake Erie tonight. The Knicks win it And the leading scorer summary is brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. John Starks got hot, 11 of 18, 7 of 13 from beyond the stripe, 6 assists, 29 points. Patrick Ewing contributed 18 and 13 rebounds. Anthony Mason, another solid game off the bench, 13 points, 14 rebounds. Derek Harper, 12 points, 6 assists. Charles Oakley, weird night, 8 points and only 2 rebounds in 38 minutes. The story for the Cleveland Cavaliers offensively, they were led by John Williams, 9 of 18, 20 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Chris Mills had 15. Terrell Brandon had 14 and 8 assists. Danny Ferry came off the bench to contribute 8. Michael Cage had 7 points but 20 rebounds. Johnny Hoops, the stat sheet.
Well, the Knicks shooting the ball very well tonight at 49%, a big factor in this game. 3-point shots also a big factor because of John Starks. Knicks had 8 of them. The rebounding went to the Cavs. Offensive rebounding went to the Cavs in a big way, but the shot blocking went to the Knicks. The Knicks did a much better job in that department.
It's one of those nights you look at the stat sheet in a certain spot, you say, wait a minute, how did the Knicks win? Well, they did it by shooting the ball well. Patrick Ewing making a move up and under and in. Back in a moment.
The Rangers head for Landover to take on Joey Juneau and the Washington Capitals. Sunday night, right here on MSG.
If you're shopping around for a new car, it makes perfect sense to visit the one dealership that displays the most popular brands. Hi, I'm Bob Neisner for all my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease a brand new Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, or Eagle, you're sure to find what you're looking for when you visit East Hills Chrysler Jeep. It's the one place you'll find a complete inventory without disappointment. And when it comes to price, you'll find my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep very, very customer friendly.
Mitsubishi unleashes the power of the price wizard.
Your price is my command, and I'm granting powerful deals.
The 95 Galant ES at prices you've only dreamed of.
Proud to bring you the leader in power tools, Bosch Power Tools. They let you cut quicker, drill faster, and they have the best jackhammer in the world. Bosch is the name real pros use, and Universal Tool is where they go to get Bosch toughness, Bosch reliability, Bosch power. And remember, Universal Tool delivers, located in Mastic and their new location in Farmingdale. Call 420-1420.
The 1980s was an incredible decade, and the best thing about it was the music.
Okay, Al, the Cavs on the move inside. It's John Hot Rod Williams sent away by Herb Williams. A lot of height out there the Cavs couldn't deal with in the latter part of the game. Anthony Mason at the end of this play, and the Bud dunk of the game.
You can tell the Knicks are feeling confident. 2 wins in a row now, 89-76 the final. We'll be back to close things up, but first let's get a little bit more info from Bob Page.
Thank you, Al. Hi, everybody. Hello, NIT, if you're a Seton Hall fan. Tonight at the Meadowlands Arena, Seton Hall completed a disastrous late-season collapse, even losing to lowly Pittsburgh 76-72. Ralph Willard and company now are 9-17. He's had a disappointing first year, but he's had a great recruiting year. Pittsburgh will be good in the future. Here's Jason Mayle, who was good tonight. 3-pointer en route to a career-high 25. Pitt led 45-39 at halftime. Roger Ingram of Seton Hall blows a dunk in the second half. Pittsburgh on the fast break. New York native Jaime Peterson throws it down. The lead was 56-49. George Blaney headed to the NIT, where who knows, perhaps an embarrassing first-round defeat awaits him. Meanwhile, Connecticut has finished the Big East regular season at 16-2. They are the champions heading into the postseason tournament, which begins here at the Garden this coming Thursday night. This evening at Miami, UConn came from behind in the second half and defeated the Hurricanes 75-67. Jim Calhoun wasn't around to see it. Ejected with 12:03 to go in the first half. 7'3" Constantine Popel with a turnaround jumper. Late second half, the score was tied at 62. Howie Dickinman running UConn with Calhoun gone. Here's Ray Allen to Kevin Ollie for a clutch jumper. 66-62 UConn led. Ollie had 16 points in the night. And then he found Travis Knight, the big 7-footer from Utah, down low for a key jam with just a minute to go in the ball game. Connecticut hung on from there. Two others in the Big East tonight. Up at the Dome, Syracuse just walloped Boston College 90-62. And Providence playing well down the stretch. Won over Villanova 71-70. Now, in the MAC tournament at Albany's Knickerbocker Arena. Earlier today, top seed defending regular season champion Manhattan just pulverized Niagara. They likely will meet the winner of Fairfield-Iona, which was Fairfield, in overtime. Loyola of Maryland lost to Canisius, and Siena St. Peter's is just underway. The Patriot League tournament, Fordham tonight defeated Holy Cross. Colgate blew out Lafayette by 20. It was Navy over Lehigh, and Mark Luking scored 43 points. Army humbled Bucknell 94-78. North Atlantic tournament, Hofstra's season ends with a 108-75 shellacking at the hands of Drexel. Hartford lost to Boston University 69-59. And 4 games in the Ivy League tonight. Princeton over Brown easily. Harvard just clobbered Columbia. Yale played on the road and was waxed by champion Penn 82-57. Dartmouth over Cornell 77-56. In hockey at the Meadowlands Arena this afternoon, the Devils exploded for 5 goals late in the second period, went on to roll over the Florida Panthers 6-1. Ex-Ranger coach Roger Nielsen got away from his infamous neutral zone trap, and it cost the Panthers, who took some physical abuse as well from Ken Danico, though there were no fights in the game. After Brian Ralston started the 5-goal surge, look at this great effort by John McClain, shorthanded. That really hurt the Panthers, his 8th goal of the season. Less than 4 minutes later, speaking of great efforts, Stefan Richer splits the defense to burn ex-Islander Mark Fitzpatrick, who gave up all 5 of those goals in a 6-minute span before being replaced by ex-Ranger star John Van Beesbrook to start the third period. Devils at Quebec Monday night. They'll play in the Garden against the Rangers Wednesday evening. Also this afternoon, Hartford got an overtime goal from Robert Cron, edge Tampa Bay. Larry Murphy scored in overtime. Pittsburgh has now beaten Boston 12 straight. Winnipeg over San Jose. Tonight, Buffalo and Quebec played to a 1-1 tie. Calgary at Toronto. They're tied in the third period. Washington over Montreal in the third period. Vancouver at Los Angeles later. They're back to counter proposals in the baseball talks at Scottsdale following some hope last night. The owners presented a counter proposal to the players today, which Union Chief Donald Fear called, quote, a significant step backwards. Fear says he does not expect the two sides to even meet later on this evening. Don't forget our full half-hour edition of the MSG Sports Desk tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. Right now, let's return to Cleveland and rejoin Al and John.
Okay, Bob, you covered it all except the game, which was on MSG tonight. 89-76, the final. The Knicks win by 13 and impressively hold the Cavaliers 15 points below their average. Now, you might want to join us Tuesday because the Celtics could start throwing basketballs at each other again. Game night begins our coverage at 7. If you can't be with us on MSG, join Mike and Clyde on the Fan. And you have to think Ed Randall's had a tough time talking baseball lately, but that's what he'll be doing. We'll join Ed in progress on MSG. It was a night for John Starks to reacquaint himself with the basketball and his touch as he hits for 29, and the Knicks enjoy a victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Our producer is Howie Singer, director Bill Webb. With John Andres, I'm Al. Good night.
Guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express Traveler's checks are sold. Guests also receive gifts by Carl Kanai. Inspired by the streets of Brooklyn, Carl Kanai footwear is available at Dr. J's. Recognize the collection that symbolizes unity and power. Carl Kanai. Tonight's guests also receive dinner for 2 at Martini's Restaurant, located at 53rd and 7th Avenue. An Italian trattoria with New York City's largest outdoor cafes, another fine Reese restaurant. And some of our guests receive a watch from Boulevard. Make every minute count with timeless elegance and precision